Revenge films.
After class was over, I noticed I had missed a call from my brother. I called him back. He said he couldn't get a hold of his wife and that she wasn't picking up. He wanted me to go and check on her. She had a cold, so he was worried about her. I was done with classes that day, so I went over to my brother's house. I rang the doorbell, but no answer. She wasn't picking up her phone either. I used the spare key and went inside. I couldn't believe my eyes. She was gagged with a towel. She was crying, and my dad was on top of her. I didn't know what to say to them. Then he noticed me. It was so awkward. Then he put on his clothes and left the house. I rushed over to her and took out the towel from her mouth. I didn't even want to know what happened, but I had to ask. What happened? It was sad that I wasn't getting pregnant. He said he wanted grandkids already. And he asked me if he could try. She was crying. I didn't even know what to think anymore. I can only imagine what she just went through. All I could say was, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She was traumatized. She couldn't speak anymore after that. I decided to take her to the hospital. I tried to call my brother, but she grabbed my phone and told me to stop. I knew it was hard, but I had to tell him. He must be worried sick. But to be honest, I had no idea what to tell him. I mean, how am I supposed to explain to him what just happened? After much thought, I finally got the courage to call him. After I explained everything, he just said,
"Look after her."
Then he hung up. He sounded pissed. I had a bad feeling about this. I was at the hospital. I couldn't just leave her there, so I waited in the waiting room. Then I got a call from one of my neighbors. She said something terrible had happened back at the house. The police came, and so did the fire engines. My father was beaten to a pulp, and my brother is covered in blood. The police took him away. I knew it. My hands started shaking. When my brother explained what happened to the police, they let him go. Then he came to see us. We all started crying. He didn't say much. He just hugged her and cried with her. All he said was,
"I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
After he got off of the phone with me, he left work and went straight home. When he confronted our dad, he didn't even apologize.
What's the big deal? It's her fault for not getting pregnant sooner. Plus, we have the same DNA, so what's the problem?
And apparently, Mom wasn't that upset either. He finally snapped and beat the living hell out of him. Mom told him to stop, but it was too late. He said he came this close to doing the same thing to Mom. 3 days later, he was let go from the hospital. Then the police arrested him.
I wanted grandkids, and she was taking forever to get pregnant, so I just wanted to see what the problem was!
I can't believe he actually said that to the police. Did he think they would just say, "Oh, okay," and let him go? My brother's wife's parents had passed away years ago, so he knew that nobody was coming to see her. I was disgusted by all of this. Fortunately, he didn't actually do it. She stopped him just in time. But still, it was traumatizing nonetheless. She developed PTSD after that. I was a senior in college at the time. I already had a job offer in my hometown. But there was no way I was going to live with my parents. And my brother loved his wife, so they weren't going anywhere. I just told them to be careful. Soon after that, they cut all ties with my parents. He had just bought a house near my parents' house, but he sold it and moved out of the city. And his company was near my college, so he rented a big apartment nearby, and the three of us started living together. But soon, Everyone in the neighborhood found out about what happened. They all loved to gossip, so rumors spread like wildfire. Most of them just felt bad for us, but some started bothering us, asking us questions we didn't want to answer. This wasn't good for my brother's wife, so he decided to quit his job and move to America. She had never been abroad, so she was hesitant at first. But my brother lived abroad a few years, so he knew his way around. Then he asked me if I wanted to come with them. I decided to join them right after I graduated college. Needless to say, we didn't say anything to our parents about this, and he was ready to quit his job. But his company offered him a new position as the manager of a new overseas branch. A few months later, I moved to America with him. He even hooked me up with a job. The three of us started living together again, and she was feeling much better. I was so happy to see her smiling again. Years later, a friend back home told me that my parents got in a lot of trouble after that. All our neighbors loved my brother's wife, so when they heard what happened, they got really upset. They were disgusted by our parents. Everyone started ignoring them. Then my mom passed away due to stress. A relative called us and asked us if we were ever coming back. So we said no. I guess Dad wanted us back now that he was all alone. We all got new numbers, but somehow he tracked us down through one of our relatives. He had his pension, so he was doing okay financially. But he wasn't welcome anywhere since everyone knew what he had done. Apparently, some people spit on him when they see him. And all his relatives hated him too. They wanted nothing to do with him. So long story short, he wanted us to come back. It's been 2 years, so he probably thought we had forgiven him. Think again. My brother was never gonna forgive him. To this day, he still says,
I should have killed him when I had the chance.
So I told him he might kill you, but why don't you ask your son? He just hung up after that. He never called us after that. And we didn't tell his wife about any of this. We didn't want to stress her out because she was pregnant. They were twins. They were so happy together. She spent most of her time next to the fireplace. Life was good for them. My dad always bugged her, telling her to get pregnant all the time. That's probably why she wasn't able to get pregnant now that I think about it. Stress is never good for anything. Anyways, I was so happy for them. I was still single, but maybe someday I'll find someone and have kids on my own. Until then, I plan to enjoy life with my brother and his beautiful wife.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.